I'm writing a lecture about the marbles in Greece. And I looked up Phileline, and next to it, Anglophilos. And here are a number of Greeks and a number of the English. And I'm going to use the words and I say, I'm not making it up. Look at page so-and-so of Oxford Dictionary. that if you really want to use a word, you must be careful how you choose it. Look it up. You know, we have the problem of xenophobia now. Now, you see, I'm able to say that xenophobia is a misnomer. Xenophobia means being afraid of the stranger. What we have is that the strangers are afraid of us. And there is a Greek word, philoxenia, lover of strangers, and you have the ancient words of xenia or xenos in ancient Greek is stranger, one meaning, guest, another. And I'm able to quote with some pride, if they challenge me, that in the Greek play of Electra, the poor peasant to whom Electra has been passed on, the princess, and he is a peasant, and he's coming back, and Orestes and his friend are outside the house. And he says to Electra, he says, my princess, whom I have not touched, but they gave it to me so that she could be put an end to the Agamemnon's name. And he says, why are you keeping the xeni outside? Xeni are entitled to be invited in. So we have a lot to talk about. And
tell me, Kyrio Bizos, if we opened the Oxford Dictionary in, I don't know how many years from now, and there was an inscription that said Saheti in the Oxford Dictionary, what words do you think would be in the Oxford Dictionary to describe Saheti?
Well, I would be happy, first of all, I don't know that dictionaries name schools, but I can understand your point. I would be happy if the truth is told. And what I think the truth is that we have managed to put up a school where the spirit of Hellenism is respected, not only by us who are of Greek origin, but of people as a whole. And I think particularly in South Africa, because of our constitution, in which some of us had some role to play in putting it together, and when it says that South Africa belongs to all people who live in it, and who actually speaks about the human rights that were really came into being in ancient Greece in the 6th century BC, and they were copied by the Romans, by the English in who is that's not my son, but by people who influenced the Magna Carta, the droit de l'homme among the French, about human rights in the United States and the United Nations. And if you go to the root of it is the Greek. It's so rich that you can get quotes from the Greek writers. Wake up with it, and you think of Sepharis and you think, oh, just a little more and we shall see the almonds blooming, just a little more, the sea breaking onto the sand, onto the beach, just a little more, let us rise a little higher. And I'm a reader of Greek in ancient, in Katharevousa, the purity, and above all the demotic, the spoken word. I make mistakes, but it's worthwhile. And in court, if I make a concession, my opponents say, oh, beware the Greeks bearing gifts. And I have an answer. Don't listen to Roman propaganda. Because it is actually not in Homer, but in the Latin version of the Greek that warns the Trojans that are pulling the wooden horse behind into their gate. And he says, in the Latin, not in Homer's, beware the Greeks bearing gifts, because he foresaw what may happen. But, even with the present troubles of Greece, I'm asked, what has happened in Greece? What will happen? And I say, Greece has gone through many difficulties. But I can say with pride, it has remained Greek throughout, with much more difficult problems that it is now facing. We are a small nation.